budget proposal of the Nigeria Customs Service. Introduction. On Tuesday, 2nd February 2021, the committee received the budget proposal of the Nigeria Customs Service for further legislative action. Methodology. The committee met on Wednesday, 17th February 2021.
Is your mic okay?
Methodology. The committee met on Wednesday, 17th February 2021, and resolved to adopt the following methodology for the assignment. 1. Review the 2020 performance profile of the service. 2. Consideration of the challenges facing the service. 3. Invitation of the Controller General and Management Team. And 4. That the committee should hold a one-day budget defense interactive session. 3. 2021 budget defense. The committee organized and conducted a one-day budget session on Thursday, 18 February 2021. During the defense session, the Controller General of the Nigeria Customs Service and Management Team made presentation and also made clarification on the area of the committee sought for further information. Consideration of the budget. Budget performances January to December 2020. The initial approval revenue target for 2020 stood at 1.679 trillion. However, due to COVID-19 pandemic, the Nigeria Customs Service revenue target was revised to 1.38 trillion. The service collected revenue of 1.211 trillion and 350.63 billion as VAT on import, bringing the total collection to 1.56 trillion in 2020. 2021 fiscal year. In 2021 fiscal year, the Nigeria Customs Service target was pegged at 1.65 trillion, comprising of 1.26 trillion for federation account and 197.996 billion for non-federation account respectively. However, the Senate committee deemed this target to be inadequate while taking cognizance of the recently accepted Finance Bill of 2021 and for the following factors: expansion of excisable items, excise duties of carbonated drinks, tariff review of vehicles, reopening of borders. 4. The Central Bank of Nigeria announced that the official rate of Naira to dollar is 410. This means collectible duty for every import will increase in Naira term than when it was 381 to $1. All this will significantly increase the revenue target of the Nigeria Customs in 2021 budget year. In view of the foregoing, which were not captured in the medium-term expenditure framework 2020, the committee hereby increased the Nigeria Customs Service revenue target from 1.65347 from 1 trillion 465 billion 345 million 709,428 naira to 1 trillion 678 billion 715 million and 61,014 naira. Details are as follows. Revenue framework. Non-federation account 1 trillion 500 billion and 96 million 480,401 million. Non-federation account 178 billion 618 million 576,613 naira, making the total revenue target of customs to be 1.678 billion. Expected income 7% collection of 2021 we now stand at 111 billion 573 million 991,091 naira. 2% VAT. The collection is able there if you look at it. 60% CRS. The collection is also there. Retain any on ongoing project 2021 stood at 91 billion 101 million 744,000 776.51 kobo, making a total of 257 billion 183 million 671,694 naira 71 kobo. The proposal is based on the federal government of Nigeria Middle-Term Expenditure Framework (MTE) and the Finance Bill Act of 2021. Proposed expenditure of Nigeria Customs Service. The expenditure of 257 billion 183 million 771,694 naira 74 kobo is being proposed for 2021 fiscal year as follows. Personnel cost 99 billion 719 million 722,681.7 kobo. Overhead cost, details are attached. Overhead cost 90 billion 531 million 769,000. Capital cost stood at 137 billion 933 million 183,030 kobo. Recommendation. The committee hereby recommends as follows: that the target revenue collection of 1,678 billion 715 million and 61,043 kobo only be approved, and that income and expenditure, including retained earnings for ongoing projects, of 257 billion 183 million 671,694 naira 74 kobo for the 2021 fiscal year also be approved. Conclusion. The committee hereby urges the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to give the budget a speedy approval. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, on behalf of the committee, I thank the leadership and the distinguished colleagues for the opportunity given to us to serve in this capacity. I so move.
A thorough job. Mr. President, my comment is just three. Number one, the adopted exchange rate, 410 to $1. Is it the current rate recognized by Central Bank of 412? I want the chairman to look into that. Is it 412 or 410? Secondly, under the expected revenue target of the custom proposed 1.4 trillion. And the committee has done well, looking at the prevailing circumstances, by increasing the target to about 1.5 trillion. But my concern is in the area of the non-federation account. While the custom proposes 197 billion, the committee went ahead and reduced it to 178 billion. And the question is, what are the reasons why the committee have to reduce the non-federation account from 197 to 178? That's my observation. Thank you.
Chairman, you take note because you will have...
I am Senator Baroji Ujibri, I represent Kano. Mr. President, just to commend the committee for working in line with the agenda of the Senate to make sure that all revenue leakages are blocked. They did so by readjusting the revenue from 1.4 to 1.6, which is good. But I want to add that there's a need for them to do a follow-up, work by doing their oversight very well to make sure that this revenue is realized. It's realizable based on the facts they've given here, but they should do more work by making sure that they do their oversight very well to realize these targets. Thank you, Mr.
Senator Bala Ibn.
I think I have tried to look at these figures and comfort myself with what I'm seeing, but unfortunately I've not been able to have that comfort. Sir, if you look at item 22002047, which is maintenance of aircraft, Custom is going to spend 200 million for maintenance. And ironically, sir, the same aircraft is going to consume fuel worth 100 million. All the figures in block. What basis is being used to come to the conclusion that these are the expenses that are reasonable in the circumstances? Secondly, the chairman should equally explain to us that 180 million is being used for cleaning and fumigation. And when you look at the details of the report, we've not been told what and what is going to be fumigated with 180 million. So the concern, Mr. President, is that there is another line charge which is called other maintenance services, which is again taking 250 million. These figures appear irreconcilable when you look at the details supplied by the chairman. But I think an explanation may give us the kind of comfort that we require in order to say that the report can pass through this Senate. Thank you.
Senator Binos
Yaro, Adama South. I want to join in congratulating the committee on doing a very good job in preparing this report for us. My comments has to do with the expected income as presented by the chairman on page 3, and the item labeled retained earnings for ongoing project 2020, 91 billion. I assume that this figure is budgeted for 2020 and it is being carried forward to 2021. So it leaves us with the figures for 2021. If you look at the capital cost for 2021 in the budget, in the next page, 137 billion, and you net off this figure that is being carried forward from 2020, you will be left with 46 billion as funding for capital projects in 2021. And then if you look at the revenue that they have increased from 1.465 trillion to 1.678 trillion, you will realize that there is the 7% cost of collection, which comes to about 15 billion. In other words, the budget, really what they have for 2021 is less than 46 billion. It's about 41 billion from the revenue of 2021. So I think there's a need to explain that so that we understand exactly what they are doing. Thank you, sir.
Senator Francis
Alimikhena, also East. Well, I will have to, first of all, thank the committee to which I belong for the job at least.
But are you not the vice chairman of that committee? No. That's your report. That's your report, so you don't have to, you can't commend the committee, you are the committee. Deputy Chief Whip.
Colleagues, Aliu Sabi Abdullahi, I represent Niger North Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, let me align myself with the past speakers, minus the Vice Chairman. Mr. President, mine is to bring an observation on page, is it 114? Where the provision for capital project 2021 budget proposal summary. Here, the second item. I don't know, how do you do the numbering? I'm trying to see. Is that page 12? we are the last page. I think it's the last page of the summary. The last page of the summary before the grand total. Mr. President, my concern here is, if you look at the second item, which talks about armory stores, ammunition, etc., the provision is 45 million. And if you look below it, stationary stores, you are having 97.339 million. And coming down again, item number 16, photocopiers, trading machine. If you look at the provision, about 87 million. Mr. President, the point I want to make here is, we read many occasions or instances where men of the Nigerian customs are being gunned down by smugglers because the smugglers are using more superior firepower. And so I'm a little bit concerned with the provisions I've seen here, which to my mind appears inadequate against some other items that to me appear unessential. Because the fact that custom officers, men and officers, are allowed to bear arms is simply because the danger in the work they do. We are those who intend to sabotage our economic, are also using superior firepower to kill our custom, men and other ranks. So I don't know if the chairman have actually looked at this, or maybe perhaps there are other explanations beyond what I understand. But otherwise, I'm a little bit disturbed that it means one essential ingredient for their operation is being under-budgeted. These are my concerns.
Please, Chairman.
Non-federation account, why is it reduced to 178 billion? The reason for this is this, Mr. President, distinguished colleague. When the custom target was pegged to 146 trillion, 1.46 trillion, when we increased it to 1.6 trillion, they were arguing that they cannot meet the target. We now told them that they can meet the target in view of this variation that has come up after 2021 finance bill, the opening of borders, the cabineted drink and all the rest. So we now increase it to 1.6 trillion. When they increased it to 1.6 trillion, that was based on the framework given to them in 2020 before the COVID. And that 2020 before the COVID, the federation account was 1.5 trillion. The non-federation account was 1.78 trillion, making 1.6 trillion. We just captured it from what was given to them in that 2020, which was revised to 1.4 trillion in that order. So they were arguing that it would be easier for them to do the collection if we maintain that level so that they can make the 100% revenue collection. That was why we gave them the 1.78 trillion in non-federation account. And if we have increased it to non-federation, increasing more than that, the target will be more than that level of 1.6. That was why we agreed to give them that level and 1.5 trillion in federation account, making 1.6 trillion. That was that. Then the one of the aircraft, we even asked the Controller General, why are you maintaining the aircraft of 200 million when the aircraft is not flying? He told us that it is only when it is not flying that they maintain more aircraft than when it is flying, that they have to do the same services as if it was flying. I'm not an aircraft flyer to maintain. So we argued that when he said yes, it's the same maintenance, even when it is parked on the ground. So that was why we allowed it. So the one of the 91 trillion capital budget, which my colleagues said about, we argued on that 91 trillion billion. The problem with the custom, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, is that they are revenue generating agency. They collect monthly. What they do is that they will collect in the end of December before they will start to award the contract of 2020. Like for instance, the contract of 2020, it was last week that the FEC approve it. That is this 91 billion, or which they approve for them. They will wait till the end of the year before they will now say they process their contract for this, because I will not ask them, why do you have to wait till the end of the year? He said they will have to wait so that to collect the 20 every month till the end before they decide to award the contract. For instance, the budget of the capital budget of 2021 now, they will not, if they are following that pattern, they will not award it this year. They will award it next year, and that is why we now put that retained earning. And if you now look at the capital by say you machine it, you discover that they still have surplus. Then what of this surplus? What do you do? You say they retain them. They retain the budget, the surplus in their account. They don't want to. They will take it anywhere. It's there, and that they will use the budget to augment. That is the system they are adopting, which we agree, which we did agree with them. We struggle, and that is how they have been operating.
Well, oversight on the customs, because this narration that they will keep money, they will not do budget implementation, is as a result of insufficient oversight. So we need to be knowing these kind of things in good time, that you report back to the Senate, this is what is happening. And you also advise them of what is appropriate and what is legal as far as the implementation of the budget is concerned. We are not supposed to be hearing this now. So please, just increase your oversight on the customs. Distinguished colleagues, will go to the recommendations. Sorry? Yes.
They said to us, we don't have to increase the ammunition, because if we increase it, it appears that we are crying more than the bereaved. We have increased their revenue. They're supposed to increase the ammunition because they know people and what. This is true, because this is what they sent to us that they wanted, and we increased the budget for them. We now told them that we discussed this one with them. We said they should now submit the supplementary budget based on the increased revenue we are giving to them, which they said they will send a supplementary budget to increase those arms and ammunition supplies.
President Ebonyi, North Senatorial District. Mr. Chairman, I want to follow others to appreciate the chairman and the committee. But I have one single question on item number 49. 2 billion naira as welfare packages and in bracket retirement incentives. Mr. President, when somebody is retiring, he has retirement benefits. Retirement benefits is paid to somebody who is retiring. I have never seen where somebody is retiring and is being paid incentive of up totaling 2 billion to be paid to people who are already retiring as incentive. So I want him to explain that, because I know it is those who are working who pay incentive to motivate them, not somebody who is retiring. Thank you, Mr. President.
I'm sure you have had so much observations with respect to the report, and of course the way the budget of the Nigeria Customs is implemented. I think the idea is to alert you as a committee to take note and put more efforts at ensuring that whether it is the target revenue or the implementation of the budget or any issue that the National Assembly should be interested in, that we step up our activities with respect to that segment of government. So I want you to respond to what the issue raised by Senator Samegu, and then we go to the recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Ranks. It's all ranks. It is not for one person. If all the one that both officers are men of custom, then when they retire, the retirement, because for instance, when you talk of welfare package, that if you're talking about the retirement in custom, they have 13 months salary, while other service has 12 months salary. So they have their welfare package for all their staffs, both officers and men that retired in a year. That was the total, the cumulative total of 2 billion they put there. It's not for one person, it's for all the ranks. The only thing you can say that they should have even detailed the number of those people that will retire. But you know, this is a budget. It's all estimate. It's all estimate. Yes, now look at the welfare package retirement for incentive for all ranks. People that retired, they give them incentive. Those who did very well, these are the ones they perform well. They have retired. They give them this package. You should know that custom is not like other this thing. They are paramilitary something. They give them incentive of retirement for all ranks. And you know this one is a budget. It's not something that is there, and it all depends on their collection. You say what? No, this is not gratuity. This is retirement incentives. Is retirement incentive? That is incentive. It's not this thing.
On page 4 of the report, the committee hereby recommends as follows. And there are two recommendations largely. Recommendation 5A, that the target revenue collection of 1,361,014 naira only be approved. Those in favor of this recommendation say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Recommendation 5B, that income and expenditure including retained earning for ongoing projects of 257 billion 183,671,694 naira 71 kobo only be approved for 2021 financial year. Those in favor of this recommendation say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Once again, please, our committee on customs, make sure that the budget is properly implemented, and the budget, by the way, has a lifespan of 12 months and is meant to be implemented not within the year, the entire spread, not at the end of the year. So ensure that this is what goes on henceforth. Thank you very much. Leader of the Senate.